how Palestine, which is depicted in green, had territory in 1917. And as we move through history, that green becomes smaller and smaller.
This diagram is completely bogus. I'll bring you up to speed. Make sure to follow me here for more. Let's go back to 110 AD. Hadrian's Roman Empire took control of Israel. The Jews living in Jerusalem revolted against the Romans. This caused the Romans to burn the city and expel the Jews from their homeland. Afterwards, Hadrian renamed the land Syria-Palestina after the Jews' sworn enemies, the Assyrians and the extinct Philistines, who came from Greece and were not Arab. Skip ahead. Throughout the years, many other empires would conquer this land, many of them being Arab. Naturally, Arab people moved in, not only from those empires, but from Arab empires that preceded them. In the late 1800s, Jewish Zionists decided to start moving back to their ancestral homeland. From 1300 to 1923, the Ottoman Empire had control of this region, but it was a non-defined region with no self-governance or borders subject to the laws and rules of the larger empire that controlled it. There was no national identity because there was never a Palestinian state. It was just a region, like the Rocky Mountain region in America. The Ottoman Empire collapsed after World War I, leaving control over the region in the hands of the British. This started the British Mandate of Palestine. Again, it had that name because of the Romans. Lots of infighting started happening. Zionists proclaimed they'd be happy if they had 1 square foot to call Israel, and the British wanted hands off. After the Holocaust, Jewish refugees fled to Israel. In 1947, the UN partitioned the land, a state for the Arabs and a state for the Jews. The Arab state for Palestine would have the West Bank, Jerusalem, Gaza, Hebron, and several other cities, while the Jews would have Tel Aviv and the land to the south of the West Bank, which was mostly desert, as well as small portions to the north. The Jews were given more land despite having less people, but the Arabs would get the majority of the cities on the land. After the partition, Israel declared independence and the Arabs declared war. The Transjordanian Arab Legion assisted, slaughtering Jews in the old Jewish quarter of Jerusalem and leveling the oldest synagogue in the city. The result of this war? These borders. Except the portions they would have you believe are Palestine aren't. Egypt took control of Gaza and Jordan annexed the West Bank, no Palestine. In 1967, another war ensued. Israel fought a 3-front war against Egypt, Syria, and Jordan, defeating all of them in only 6 days. Israel made massive land claims. These were the new borders. They took the Golan Heights, Sinai, the West Bank, and Gaza. Eventually, most of the Golan Heights and Sinai were given back to Egypt and Syria, respectively. But no Palestinian state was to be seen. In 1988, Hamas was founded, their covenant openly calling for the extermination of all Jews, claiming it as essential to Islam. Fighting continued in Gaza. In 2005, Israel unilaterally withdrew their forces but maintained ownership. The people living in Gaza democratically elected Hamas as their sole governing authority in 2006, causing Israel to put a blockade in place. This brings us to the modern conflict. Follow me to be kept up to date with what's going on.